And we are live. Guys, welcome to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. My name is Jay Angel. I'm going to be your podcaster for tonight. With me tonight, I have a very special young man, a high school bass tournament angler named Jaiven Cuevas. First of all, the Let's Talk Fishing podcast is brought to you by Grant Rods, Iowa Reels, the American Bass Club, and of course, Shongaloo Outdoors. First thing I'd like to show you, I did a thing. Man, I finally broke down and bought one of these. You know, anybody who watches the show knows that I like Grant Rods. And Grant Rods, look at this. I don't even want to use this rod because it's just so beautiful. Look at that right there is made from abalone shells. Of course, Daiwa Tatula. I mean, why would you fish with anything else? But look at the craftsmanship. This just can't do justice to what this rod is. If I can get that close enough, you can see the twill on that. The thing I like about Grant Rods blends superior sensitivity with the power that the backbone that I can catapult a crankbait out, or for those of you who like to fish redfish, you know, I can catapult a redfish rig out. Look at every one of these things is just beautiful. Look at that eye. And also it has the backbone that I can set the hook on a 6-pounder. I love my Grant Rods. That's grantrods.com, Grandt rods.com. Check it out, guys. Feel the difference. Now I want to get to talk to Jaiven. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Also, we got Cajun Rob with us tonight. He said, "Good evening, guys," and he says that's a work of art rod. I agree with you, Rob. Rob, we're here tonight with Jaiven, and actually, Rob was the one who recommended this young man. He said he's a stick, and you're 15 years old, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And the last place you fished, we were talking before. Last place, Jaiven. Am I saying that name right, dude?
Yes.
Last place he fished was Enid Lake. You know, I've heard Enid Lake gets international press from the sac-a-lait or crappie fishing up there. But Jaiven tells me there's a lot of bass up there too. Weren't you telling me about 20-pound bags?
Oh, yeah. I know for a fact the top 3 had
20-pound bags. Man, so you get up there. Have you ever fished that lake before?
I have not.
Man, so you get up there. You never fished this lake before. How many days did you have to practice?
One.
Wow. That's not an easy to do. Done that, but you know, most of the time when I only had one day to fish, I was a co-angler. So, you know, co-anglers, you're just along for the ride, man. So you get there, you have one day to fish. What is your go-to when you only have one day to fish?
My go-to would be a buzzbait. Definitely.
A buzzbait.
Morning. Booyah clacker buzzbait. Makes a lot of noise. Helps me cover water. Does it all.
You put any soft plastic trailer on that?
With the skirt, I do not.
With the skirt, you do not? Okay. With the skirt, you do not. So what kind of structure are you targeting with that?
Trees, laydowns, bushes in the water, anything that looks like, because it was raining. So like it could have bugs falling off of it or anything. Pitching a buzz bait underneath it.
You know, when I was guiding and people would excuse me, when I was guiding, people would want to learn how to use Topwater. There were some people who were just so stubborn. I would tell them I was going to put a blindfold on them and cast because it's a hard thing to learn. I'm sure you know. Buzzbait is probably the easiest way to catch fish on top water, I think. Frogs are harder chuggers. You ever have any problem hooking into a fish on a buzzbait?
Never.
Never. What is your secret?
Trailer hooks.
Okay. I've used a lot of trailer hooks. I used a lot of stinger hooks, all kinds of things for that. Yes. You use commercially available trailer hooks, or do you make your own?
I use commercially available.
Okay. So I'm certain you didn't catch all of your fish on a buzzbait. That's mostly a morning thing with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I did catch all of my fish on a buzzbait because
Okay, I think we lost the last part of that sentence.
on day one, I did catch all of my fish on a buzzbait, but that was because it was raining and cloudy, and the bite really never.
Bite never heated up?
Yeah, it just stayed not really. I wouldn't say really good, but it stayed consistent.
Okay. So, do you ever go offshore and what else do you use other than buzzbaits?
I use. This is a bait to use the buzzbait. This is a G-Man chatterbait bladed jig with a Zoom twin tail trailer.
Okay. I like that. You know, my favorite thing to put on the back of a chatterbait is a Zako. Yamamoto baits.
Yeah, I like those.
It looks so much like a bluegill if you get the right colors combination on them. So you use that color?
Yes.
Man, that's bright. You like bright colors?
Yeah, I don't really. I may get a lot of hate for this, but I don't really like the darker colors like black and blue or natural.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting, man.
Chartreuse or that nature.
Chartreuse are yellow and white?
Yes.
Man, white. You know, recently there have been a lot of shad spawns, actually the last month. If you can get into a shad spawn in the morning and throw a white spinnerbait, or throw this, which is one of my favorite lures, you know.
Yeah.
Throw that through a shad spawn. It's no telling how big you get one. I just had on Jason Kahn, who caught the 17.03 pounder over on OH Ivy. And that's what he was doing a month ago on the fork, you know, Lake Fork.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, that he can find, actually right now, he said that he'd be able to find schools of 8-pounders. There you go. You know, man, I'll tell you what, a million years ago when I was your age, that was about all we threw. Right there in the man's jelly worm, that and the man's jelly worm, and that was about it.
That's what got me hooked on bass fishing.
That's what got a lot of people hooked on bass fishing.
I'd go out with my dad, and I wouldn't catch any fish, but he'd catch fish, and he'd be like, tie this on, and I never would. But the first time I did, caught fish, had a blast, went with it, and now it's pretty much all I do.
Yeah, the white spinnerbait, the white. Actually, yes, the first one I started using H&H lures. a white spinnerbait. It cost about 23 cents at Kmart.
I wish.
Yeah. Yeah, but also that was back in like 1983, you know.
Yeah, I wish.
I told you a million years ago. A million years ago. Man. Yeah, but the white spinnerbaits now are expensive. And so that's a zoom forktail
Yes.
or
Twin
twin tail.
tail.
Okay. Zoom makes about a million different kinds of lures too.
Yeah.
I know if you go to Academy Sports and Outdoors, it seems like, there you go. It seems like they have half a row devoted to Zoom.
Yeah. But those favorite trailers that I throw, I have them. These are the colors I use up. Yellowish chartreuse, clearish chartreuse, and white.
Okay. Interesting. So you like so you've never used a color right there.
What color is that? It's hard for me to see.
This is called Bruiser Flash. This is a
I do not think I've ever used that exact color, but I've used something similar to it.
Oh, actually this is Junebug. I'm sorry. I thought it was Bruiser Flash. You know, Junebug. Blue black with fleck in it, you know.
Yeah.
This is I love wacky rigging simply because I catch so many fish doing it. Uh-oh, we're losing you, man. Say that again.
I said, especially on the slow fall on the way down.
That's why I like when I wacky rig, I use a smaller hook, the smallest hook I can get away with. I have to use bigger hooks down here than I did up north, simply because of the amount of structure. And also the fish are bigger down here. If I caught a 5-pounder up there, I'd have it on the cover of Midwest Outdoors, you know. Literally, you know, because there just aren't that many fish up there. When I caught the 7-pounder, man, that fish was famous. But a 7-pounder up in northern Illinois is like a 12-pounder in Texas, you know.
Yeah.
So do you ever do any finesse fishing?
Not really. But when I do, here, let's see. Oh crap. Let me get it out here. This little grub on a Ned rig.
Boy, that's small. What is that, about a 2-inch grub?
2 1/4, I believe.
And who makes that?
Jaybro's lures.
Jaybro's lures. Is that a local thing?
No, sir. They are actually out of Ohio.
Okay. I just never heard of them. And boy, doing this, I hear of a lot of bait companies, you know.
Yeah.
But Ned rigging, that's interesting, because the Ned rigging I've done is all of it's been up north, and 90% of it was either on rock ledges or sand flats for smallmouth bass. You know, smallmouth bass will roam the sand flats,
Looking for stuff to pick off the bottom.
Yes. You know, okay, that brings me to my next thing I want to talk to you about, Pickwick Lake. You know, Pickwick Lake, a lot of people go there. Do you fish smallmouth or largemouth on Pickwick, or both?
Both.
Both. You feel okay. So you said you like to fish the shallow ledges, go from like 5 to 8 feet?
Yes.
So how do you pick apart a ledge?
Well, the main one that I found accidentally.
Sure.
But when I'm actually looking for them, I'll look for kind of like a L-shaped creek, and where that point is, like that point is in the L. 90% of the time, there's a ledge there, and I'll scan it out, and then I'll fish it, and if I don't get bites, I'll move on to the next one.
Okay, do you throw up on shallow water and work your bait deep? Or do you throw deep and pull up the ledge? Do you fish parallel to the ledge? How do you?
I throw deep and work my way up shallow.
Do you use a Ned rig to do that?
I use a paddle tail swim bait
There you go.
on an underspin.
Okay. Do you drag that up the incline then?
Yep, drag it up the ledge, and they'll smoke it.
Have you caught any true monster smallmouth there? 4 pounds plus?
Yeah, 4-pounder, 401, I believe.
I've fished some of the great smallmouth waters in the world, like Green Bay, Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie.
I want to go.
Green Bay is definitely my favorite. You know, that's the place that you can, if you get further north, like Egg Harbor North, the water is so gin clear. You can see down 30 feet, which is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you can see that fish when you hook into it. Sometimes you can, if you sit there in the front and you go like this and you're looking down there trying to, with your glasses, like I see you're wearing,
Yeah.
You can see down 25 feet on a good day if there's not too much wave action, which is rare on Green Bay. You just got to be careful. It's a dangerous body of water. But I've hooked into smallmouth and seen them do this and then come up like this in 30 feet of water and jump up, do a backflip, and go right straight down, back down to the bottom. And big old 6-pounder is not much you can do.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to use big equipment, because big equipment, you have to use thicker line. And that just doesn't, it's hard. It's a difficult place to fish because you just can't use heavy line like, you Southern boys are used to.
Yeah.
But because you're going to get fewer bites, but you're actually going to bring in more fish. I have had fish break me off there. Of course, I still to this day, I'll never know if that was a muskie, northern pike, lake trout, salmon, walleye. A lot of different things live in that water.
Yeah. So
Go ahead. Okay, we missed that last sentence, Jaiven.
You ever throw an underspin and then follow it up with a spook once they stop?
And I've never done that. That does sound like it would work. Actually, I've done a lot of the opposite of that, like frogging and have a Wacky Rig rod right next to me. So if something blows up, I can grab that Wacky Rig and throw it to where it blew up. And 9 times out of 10, I'll catch them on the soft plastic.
Yeah, I do the opposite because if they're in that 30 foot of water, like you said, throw down there with an underspin or any kind of thing that mimics a shad or whatever they're biting on. Get them alert, and then once they see that spook up top, like a dead bait fish.
Boy, that just never occurred to me, particularly with smallmouths in very clear water. Yeah. Of course, Pickwick can be pretty clear, can it? Not all the time, because it is a river.
Yeah. It got, I don't know about the 25 feet like you said.
Yeah.
But about 5 to 10 feet, a good day.
That I can see that presentation working very well in 5 to 10 feet of water. I can see that. Yes. Because, I mean, it's hard to beat a spook. And I've seen some guys who are so good. There was one guy, man, he was so good with a spook I fished with a few times. I swear he can make a spook to a figure 8. 30 feet out. Actually, I've caught a lot of speckled trout with spooks. That's a lot of fun, particularly at night under the lights,
Yeah.
I like fishing the marsh with spooks,
Oh yeah.
particularly if the redfish are active. Man, you see a redfish come up and he comes up and then at the last second he turns his whole body over and grabs it. Oh my God.
See the tails. You see the tail and the fin follow behind it.
Yep. Yeah, that's exciting. That I haven't caught a whole lot of redfish doing that because these are just where I catch so many more fish,
Yeah.
That's what I'm out there for. So Pickwick, how else do you fish on Pickwick?
Beat bank spinnerbait.
Beat the bank, okay. And what are you bank beating with?
For dirty water. How it was last time I was there.
Okay.
Colorado blade, one orange, gold, chartreuse, white, blue, paddle tail.
Paddle tail, okay. It's hard. That's a good color right there. You like that color, don't you?
A lot.
My favorite color combination for that is a little bit of blue in there because it looks bluegill.
Yeah.
And I happen to think that when the shad aren't spawning, that's what a lot of these fish feed on.
At Pickwick, I saw a bunch of dead bluegill with bite marks on
Bite marks?
them. Tails missing, scales missing.
It's a TVA reservoir. There's a lot of gar in there.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any place in the world that has more gar than the Atchafalaya spillway, though. But
I didn't really see it.
so you live real close to the Pearl River, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
And guys, the Pearl River makes up some of the southernmost boundaries of Louisiana and Mississippi. I've never fished the Pearl River, but I've spent a lot of time over on it in the course of the job I do. You'd be hard pressed to find a place this far south that has that clear of water. That's one thing that absolutely impressed me. And there's just the color of that water was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And me with over 50 years of looking at water with bass fisherman eyes, like there has got to be some freaking giants in there. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah. I think it was 2, 3 years ago. 11. It was 1178 out of there.
1178. Jeez. So I guess I was right. Some giants in there.
Oh, yeah.
Did you catch that, Jaiven?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay. What's the biggest fish you've caught out of the Pearl River?
About 4 pounds.
Okay.
I've caught quantity there or quality.
Sure. So it's a numbers body of water for you.
Yes, it is.
That's one thing I like about bodies of water. There are numbers. I think our number on it is. It's a good place to go and gain confidence with lures that I want to learn. That's another thing I tell people. Learn lure things about it. It works in different situations, different color combinations, different cadences that you bring it back on. Learn your lures, learn them. And you there's just no, you're never going to learn anything sitting on the couch.
Yeah. The best way to go to a pond, don't go fishing at it, but go to a pond, get to the bench, and watch it work, put it in the water.
Okay, David, let's try that again. we got like every other word with that sentence.
I got to get better Wi-Fi. But
yeah,
best
well, StreamYard just, it might not be your Wi-Fi, it might be StreamYard. That's not the best thing. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Let's try that again.
the best way to learn, in my opinion, is how I learned to fish Texas rigs. Right? Go into a shallow pond, you see your lure, cast it out there,
Yes.
work it, and see what it's doing. That way, when you can't see it, you know what it's doing. You have more confidence.
I completely agree with you, because if you can see your lure, you know how it feels bringing it in with your rod. You know how a spinnerbait's supposed to feel. So you know that if you're not feeling that thump 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 thump, you have some something's fouling it, like aquatic vegetation. Okay, Jaybro Lures just said good evening, gentlemen. Hey, Jaybro Lures, thank you very much for tuning in. We're glad to hear you. We're glad to have you here. Even was just talking about you, Jaybro. Jaiven was just talking about you. So what do you use at Jaybro's?
This is a long list. Let's see. I've been using recently with a color drop they did. You know the color red shad?
Red shad. Gosh, you gotta love red shad, man.
Have you ever seen it in a swirl?
Ooh, look at that. Now, how would
The Jaybro.
did you Texas rig that?
Sure do. 1/4 ounce weight. Get it down. Work it.
I could, man. Somebody from their Trinity, Cajun Rob just said their Trinity worms are hot.
Oh yeah.
Is that it, Jaiven? Was that a Trinity worm you were just showing?
Trifinity, yes, sir.
Trinity, okay. No, Trifinity. Okay, I read that wrong. Gosh, I have to get my glasses back. I just lost my glasses, and it cost me $200. It's going to take me 2 weeks to get a new pair. Trifinity, guys. It's not Trinity. It's Trifinity. Jeez, I can't believe I got that wrong. But Jaybro, man, thank you. The Trifinity. Now, Rob, how do you use the Trifinity? So, okay, Rob must have stepped away, but so do you work that quickly?
Yes. Keep the tails moving.
It looks like something you don't want to sit there and just drag on the bottom. It looks like something you're gonna.
Yeah. But my favorite color, they just did another color drop. Color drop is when they put out a color that they don't make for a week, see how good it does, so they know, kind of getting feedback. But they just did one on Junebug Red. Worm.
Okay, Cajun Rob just says that he uses a Trifinity worm to either Carolina rigs, Texas rigs, or shaky heads. So I guess there's all kinds of things you can do with that thing. I've never seen anything like that. And then Jaybro just said he likes fishing the Trifinity worm with a shaky head. Oops. So you got this thing right here.
Yeah.
I usually don't fish these very quickly. Then there's Dom's Fishing and Country Living. It says Jaiven puts me on all the best colors. Have you fished with this guy?
That is my best friend, fishing partner, Dominic.
Okay. So this thing, you guys fish this quickly with a Trifinity worm?
I do. I don't know. I like
Okay, man, we're StreamYard is not being kind tonight. I do apologize about this, Jaiven.
It's all good.
So when you're using a shaky head, you power fish these things too.
I don't completely swim it through the water. I'll stop it. Tails. When I think the tails are done moving, I'll pick it up, swim it a little bit more, drop it back down, and just repeat that process.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, most of the time I'm using something like this on a shaky head. Or, you can really use anything. Or something like this. But also, I like to work things slowly, but that's just my style of fishing. I'm going to hit every side of a cypress tree, and I'm going to try to put my bait on every single one of those cypress knees. So it might take me 10 minutes to fish a small area, but if there's any fish in that area, I'm pulling it out. Where man, I just had. Oh, geez, help me out here, Rob. I just had a major league fishing guy on, and he's a power fisherman. And he says he's looking for the dumb fish. He's going to go through an area and he's going to make 50 casts in the same time it takes me to make 10. But he's pulling every dumb fish. He's looking for the active fish, the dumb fish, and I'm looking for everyone. Jaybro just said he's heading to iCast. Hey Jaybro, when you go there, look for Brad from Bassin Magazine. Tell him you talked to me. Wow, what is that?
This is also from Jaybro's. This is called their Haymaker.
Okay. Show that again, man. And put that right up close to within 3. So is that a straight thing?
Just the straight worm with a ballpoint tail. That's what I use on shaky heads. A very, very small one, 1/16 ounce. 1/16 to 1/8, as small as I can get it.
Okay. Wow. So I assume you also fish that thing really quickly.
Yes.
That looks like something in the middle of the summer. I would want to cast that. I would be out on a long point, cast that as far up as I could, and just work it down a long point. When the fish are on secondary points and long points, and when I'm sitting out in 15, 20 feet of water and throw it up into 3 feet of water and work it. Dom, would you work something that long on a drop shot?
Oh, yeah.
You would work something that long on a drop shot? Man. Oh, there's a little one. No, that's the same thing. I'm sorry. Duh. Or is that a 6-incher?
Jaybro's help me out here because I have no clue. I think this one might be 7. Let's see.
7 inches? Well, 7. I mean, the same thing, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So 7 inches. He said the Haymaker is 6.5.
Ah.
Thank you, Jaybro. Haymaker is 6.5. Man, I'm learning stuff here. I didn't know all this stuff was available.
Oh, yeah. Jaybro's is the best in the business. I'll say that with total confidence. Zoom, yes, they release more of a variety of stuff, But if you give Jaybros another year, they'll have that same stuff plus more. It's just what they're doing is just amazing.
Okay. Very good. And Jaybro said, we are giving away 50 bags of baits at 5K at 5K followers on the talk. And Dom said, love that distinct garlic smell. Oh yeah.
Stuff is strong.
My truck always smells like soft plastic lures, and people come in there. You got fish and stuff in here? Yeah. I keep it in here because that helps me in the morning.
Gives you that wake up.
It gives me hope. Yeah. I'll be fishing soon enough. That's what that tells me. That's what that tells me, man. Well, hey, man, it's 35 after the hour. Usually at 35 after the hour, I give my guests the chance to do shout-outs. Are there any shout-outs, any thank yous to any companies, organizations, clubs, individuals that you'd like to make?
Yes. Okay. Of course, I want to say thank you to you for having me.
Well, thank you too for coming on. I can't do this without people like you.
And then, of course, Jaybro's Lures. Not my official sponsor, but he helps me. I help him, back and forth.
That's how it works. Yes.
And then Bottom to Top Construction, Hogue Fabrication, and Cargo Elevator. Let me get my DNS Auto and Marine Repair, King Crew Adventures, Lee's Trolling Motor Service, Southern Exteriors Fence Co., Fish Max Outdoors. Fish Max is actually a new website that they are trying to get. They want to be up there with Tackle Warehouse.
There you go. What's that called? Fish Max? Fish Max?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Bruiser Machine and Fabrication.
Okay. Is that a complete list now?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much, Jaiven. I'd like to thank you for coming on. I know you're a very busy man. You still going to high school?
Yes, sir.
Man, you're still going to high school. You fish all the time. I know you're busy. I'd like to thank you for coming on. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on. We had some really lively discussion here. That's my favorite kind of podcast, when people are interacting with us. Man, that's just great. I'd like to thank Jaybro for coming on. I'd like to thank Dom for coming on, and of course Cajun Rob. Cajun Rob is my most faithful fan. So anyways, Jaiven, stick around. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. Guys, it's Thursday night. Make your plans for fishing now. Get out there on the water. I don't care if it's raining. Just get out there on the water. Believe me, take it from an old man with all kinds of health problems. You only get to do this once. Stick around, Jaiven. I'd like to talk to you after the podcast. With that, I'm going to end the podcast. Have fun, guys.